What is up, guys? On Men Chat Monday, I want to share with you 5 things that you can do to really build a deeper, stronger connection with your wife and your children. And it's 5 simple things that you can do to set business boundaries. When we have business boundaries in our business and in our home, we can better show up for our loved ones. So I've taken some notes here, so forgive me when I look down, but this has been weighing on my heart heavy, and I really wanted to make sure that I share what is on my mind. So the 5 things that I have that you can do to quickly implement business boundaries is first one is make sure it is a family business and not just the man's business. A lot of times we say, "Oh, my business," meaning the man takes possession of the business. But I want to challenge you to make sure that it's a family business. So when you talk about it, it's our business, like yours and your wife's stuff that your whole family can be involved in. Some ways that we can use it being a family business to really have appropriate boundaries and push both the marriage and the relationship with children forward, in addition to pushing the business forward, is to invite your spouse to be involved as much or as little as they want to be. A lot of times we have a wife who wouldn't mind being involved in the business. She just doesn't know how. She's never been invited. She's never been given the opportunity to show up in the business and be a part of it. She doesn't have to be like hardcore into it, like as far as doing revenue generating activities, but she could potentially be a part of scheduling or planning or things of that, ordering supplies, whatever your spouse wants to. Let them be involved. Open the communication so they have an opportunity to grow and to thrive in the business. Share your wins and struggles with your spouse, with your children. Don't hold those in. Don't hold them to yourself. A lot of times, if we're the main person that works 100% in the business, or it's our business as we have it in our minds, we don't often include our spouse, our children, and that includes in our wins and in our struggles. At the very least, if we share our wins and if we share our struggles, our family can celebrate the wins with us and they can pray for us for strength through the struggles. And that's an opportunity that's fantastic. A great way to build connection. Take input from your wife, from your children on the things that you should do, or things that are struggling, or things that they feel might better result in the business being pushed forward. Be open to their suggestions. Be humble enough to implement their suggestions when it makes sense, when it's helpful to push our goals, our desires, and meet the outcomes that we're searching for. Make sure that your team, as we build a team as entrepreneurs, as we scale and grow, make sure your team is aware of when your family time is, so we don't accidentally get appointments scheduled when it should be at your kid's baseball game or things like that. If your team's aware of when your family time is, when you're available to work, when you're available for calls, we will avoid having to cancel calls or miss out on family things. So just communicate with your team. So that's the first one. As far as boundaries go, make sure that the entire family is included and that it's not just your business. Because a lot of times as you talk about just your business as a man, it's almost like your spouse feels like they're being excluded. It's not intentional, but they feel like they're missing out. They feel excluded, or they can feel excluded. And that's a hardship, a struggle, a challenge that is unnecessary. If we will just allow it to be our family's business, something that the family can be proud of, that will go a long ways in just boosting the spirit and just with the connection in the marriage. The next thing I want to share with business boundaries is go to bed together with your wife, or at least have a routine that you can spend some time together in the evening. And I call this a business boundary because a lot of times us men, we get up early, we work late. Our wife does most all the cooking, gets the kids ready for school, may often do the bedtime routine with the children, and we just work so much. We might be classified as a workaholic. And as an entrepreneur that has the ability to own your time, you don't have to be a workaholic. You could be a familyaholic and really spend a lot of time throughout the week with your loved ones. So go to bed with your wife. At the very least, when your wife is going to bed, if you're not going to go to bed, spend a few moments with her and then you can work after that. Adjust your adjust your schedule so your family does not get the leftovers. What I mean by that, if I wake up 4, 5, 6 a.m. every morning and do business things, self-development, whatever, work all day in the business, on calls, training the team, taking care of whatever my role is in the business as the top leadership, then come home, miss dinner, work late, and then when we are home, we're sitting on the couch watching the show, or we're completely exhausted, and our family's not getting us in a version that is present, that is showing up, that is really providing value to your family in a way that is building connection, building meaningful time together. So make sure your schedule is something that your family doesn't get the leftovers. If possible, adjust your morning till start later so you can spend some breakfast time with your wife and children. And make sure you set a hard boundary to stop at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock so you can spend the evening with your children. But make sure that you're just not just straight exhausted and full tired out and out of energy by the time you have available for your family. I know there's times that you'll be tired and stuff, but make sure that your family is not getting the leftovers. Make sure that your family is really getting a version of you that is easy to connect with, that is full of love, that is focused, that is dedicated to them without distractions. So make sure that you're present for your family and that you're not giving them the leftovers when your tank's empty, when you're tired, when you're worn out, when you're ready for bed. That shouldn't be the only time you spend with your children. And then the fourth tip that I want to share with you is plan your family time first. Be present and available. Make sure that you have plenty of opportunities on your calendar to spend time with your children, to spend time with your wife, to enjoy meals together, to be present for the children's school activities, to be available. If your children want to chat, be able to step aside, put the business aside for a moment and chat. Because if your children want to chat to you, take full advantage of it. Because the more you push them off and the more you say no or not right now, the less likely they will come to you. And there's going to be a time in your children's life where there's a serious need and they really are coming to mom or dad. In this case, you as a father, as a husband, in need. There's going to be times where it's going to be time sensitive. They need some assistance, that they're struggling emotionally, whatever it is. And if you're not there, if you're not present, the next time they need it, they're going to look elsewhere. Maybe a friend, maybe the things of the world, whatever it is. But don't miss those opportunities to connect with your children, because your children grow up way too fast and those opportunities will fade. As your kids get middle school and teenagers, high school, they're going to want to be with their friends. They're going to want doing things that the world is saying is fun and cool and exciting. And so as a husband, as a father, make sure you're present. Make sure that even though you're working and you're pushing a business forward and you have a team and you're scaling and all these things, that you're available for your children. If they call you during the day, have a few minutes to talk. Be able to communicate with them. Be like, okay, I have 10 minutes before my next call. We'll chat. I can call you after this call. Let them know when you're available. Let them know when they can really get dad's full attention. There's nothing worse than feeling like you don't matter or you're not important for somebody. Like, it's clear when you're talking to someone or you're like got things to do and you can't be bothered, it's clear. People know, people see when they're not the priority, when they're not the focus. And sometimes unintentionally as an entrepreneur, oh, after this call, I'm busy. I got to do this. I got to do this. And we've been unintentional and unaware that we've even pushed our children or our spouse away. And then the last tip that I have for establishing boundaries is communicate your family time. Communicate when is work time. And when you communicate that, okay, I'm going to work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. After that, it's family time. After that, we can go on a bike ride. We can go on a walk. We can do this. Or work time is up until the children's practice, football or whatever. And then a bonus one, set a hard stop. Each day, figure out what is appropriate for your family, what is appropriate for you. When are you going to have the family meals? Especially if you work from home. Set that hard stop. When should your day end? When can the family expect to have your time? And I would recommend that 4 or 5 o'clock, whatever allows you to participate in preparing and enjoying the family meals together, and making sure that you have time for homework, and making sure that you have some available one-on-one time with your children before they go to bed. However much time you need for that to occur, that's where your hard stop should be, in the evenings. And then set up something where if you need to work more, you can work after the children go to bed, especially those with young children. You don't want to miss them growing up. You don't want to miss building their relationship when they still love their daddy, when they still want their dad, when they still look up to him, when they still want to be friends with you as a father. Because the time will come where they'll be more interested. The boys will be more interested in the girls will be more interested in the boys, or their own friends, or sporting activities, or whatever. And don't miss this opportunity. So just in recap, communicate your family time and your work time so everyone knows, your team, your family, yourself. Find family time first and be present. Be available. Make sure you're not giving your family the leftovers. Adjust your schedule so you can show up in a way that you're full of energy, that you have the brain capacity, you have the bandwidth to build connections, to have meaningful conversations, to be present when your children need you. Go to bed with your spouse. Do the routine together. Pray together. Do brush your teeth, whatever that nightly routine is. And if you don't actually go to sleep with your spouse, that's fine. But just make sure that you have that blocked out, that you can be pretty consistent with that time directly with your spouse. And the last one is make it a family business and not your business. Allow the family to be a part of it. And as those things happen, we as men will avoid our family feeling left out. We will avoid feeling overworked. We'll avoid feeling like I'm just not giving enough to my family, because it happens. Many entrepreneurs, they just go hard in their business. Their family becomes second place, not on purpose, but it's just the way things are. But if we will do these things intentionally, all of these things have really turned our focus and attention to our family. And when things are going well at home, it's much easier for them to go well in the business. So that is what I have for you. Take a look at what you're currently doing in your business, the communication, the time, the availability you have for your family, and set the boundaries that allow you to have more family time and less time in the business. And when I mean less time in the business, be effective with the time that you do have. If you're working 10 hours in the business, but you're kind of casual, you do a little bit here and there, and you look at your list for the day and I didn't really accomplish that much. Well, then let's give your family some of that time. Let's say you work maybe 7 or 8 hours in the business and you get those additional 3 hours for your family. Now you have some time restraints on yourself. You're going to have to figure out a way to be more efficient. You're going to have to figure out to do more in less time. And when you do that, that is how you start to establish the time freedom, the financial freedom that you desire for your family as an entrepreneur. Do more in less time. Build more memories with your family by spending less time in the business and being effective when you are working in the business. Make sure that your boundary includes when it's business time, you work, you've eliminated the distractions and you're getting stuff done. You're being productive in the business. So when it's family time, you can be productive with the family time. Build strong relationships, enjoy time together, build memories. There's so much good that happens when the family is the first priority and the business balance, the boundaries in the business are in a proper alignment to make sure that they're not encroaching on the family time or the needs and wants of the family. When that happens, you will see greater strength in your marriage. You will see increase in your profits in your business because you have more clarity, you have more fulfillment, and life is just better when our relationships at home are better. That's what I have for you today. I challenge any of you that are watching this to establish those business boundaries. Put in the chat, what are some boundaries that you should or want to explore implementing in your business so your family can get more of your time? Let me know in the chat those boundaries you plan to implement. Thanks, guys. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your Monday.